Today we're installing the Tusk Folding Glass Windshield on the Polaris RZR Trails. Whether it's a 900 or 1000, it's going to be the same process for model years 2021 and newer. It works with the OEM and Tusk roofs. So let's go ahead and get started. To start out, we're going to prep our filler panel. So at the bench, we've got a soft work surface. You can also use a blanket. That's going to work great too. And you're going to take your 3/4 inch wide piece of foam tape. You're going to cut two 10-inch strips and you're going to go up each inside edge. Once you've done that, you're going to flip it over, take the rest of the foam tape, and you're going all the way across the filler panel right on the crease in the middle, and it's going to be the side that is going to be closer towards the roof. So this side here, this is going to be facing down towards your hood. Next, we're going to prep the windshield. You want to have this on a soft blanket, or I've got this on a couple blocks of wood to help me install everything onto it. Now, we're going to start with the bulb seal. You've got 3 pieces. The longer piece is going to go in the middle across this bottom, and then the 2 shorter pieces are going to go on the sides. This is facing up, so this rubber seal is going to face in towards the cab once it's installed on the machine. Now you're just going to center this up, press it into place, and if you have any excess left over, you can use some side cutters to trim it off. And as you press this on, if it doesn't fit tight at any point, you can simply pinch this, squeeze it together for a tighter fit. And some people are going to find it easier to use a soft face mallet or dead blow hammer to tap this on. Next, I'm going to flip the windshield over so it's facing down. The next step is to assemble your vent door brackets. We're going to start out with bracket A. We're going to be using 2 M5 button head bolts. We're going through the front side of the windshield right next to that hinge. And then we've got the M5 nylock nuts on the back. And as we assemble all of this, we're leaving the hardware loose until everything's assembled. Then we'll move on to bracket B. So with this, pay attention to how this bend correlates to bracket A. We've got the M6 button head bolts going through this one, then the nylock nuts on the back side. And then we've got bracket C. So the tab is going to be facing towards the top of the windshield, and the arc, that's going to be facing away from the windshield. And then again, we're using an M6 button head bolt with a nylock nut. After that, you're going to take the hand knob, go through the slot in bracket C. Then you've got a friction washer in between bracket C and bracket A. And then you can screw that into place. Now we can tighten down our hardware. Just make sure you have your brackets lined up as you do that, and test to make sure the vent opens and closes easily. If it doesn't, you need to make more adjustments with these brackets. Now these smaller bolts, we're using a 3mm Allen and 8mm combo wrench, and then a 4mm Allen and 10mm combo for the others. And then on this pivot bolt, you want to tighten the nut until it lightly seats, and then you're going to back it off about 1/4 of a turn. The reason for that is you just want to make sure that it pivots easily. Next, we're going to install the windshield wiper. We've got a plastic plug in the top we need to remove. There's little tabs on the sides you can press in on to remove it, and if you need to, you can use some pliers. And then the mount is going to be on the hand knob. So first I'm going to remove the smaller nut, pull the mount off. Then you're just going to remove a nut, washer, and grommet. We're just going through that hole, and then on the other side, we're installing the grommet, the washer, and the nut. I'm going to use a 19mm and crescent wrench to tighten that down. You don't have to go crazy tight, we just want that snug. Then from here, I'm going to flip the windshield back onto the other side. And then to prep the windshield wiper, you've got 2 tabs on the wiper itself. It's going to pop this plastic cover up. You'll take the wiper arm, go through there, and then make sure the hook is all the way on the wiper. Press the cover down. Then we're going to take our hand knob. I'm going to go through the mount from the inside, and then I like to have this handle lined up with the wiper arm once I install everything. And then we'll use the smaller nut on the outside and a 10mm combo wrench and tighten that down. And there's just little splines on that arm and handle that need to be lined up, and press the cover into place. Now to install your filler panel, you want to remove any accessories that are going to get in the way. So we've got this Tusk roof on here, and I've gone ahead and removed the 2 front mounting bolts so we can get this installed. But with this, like I said, these nut inserts, these are going to be facing down towards the hood. So we're going to slide this into place. And as you slide the filler panel into place, you just want to make sure that the top mounting locations line up with the holes in the gussets on each side. And then just underneath this roll cage bar, we've got another hole right here. We're going to take our M6 by 30 millimeter button head bolt. We've got a washer on there, and we're going to thread this into the nut insert that's in the filler panel. You want to leave that loose so you can make adjustments. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Next, we need to remove our stock A-pillar bolts. You don't need to reuse these, but you will be reusing the nuts. Next, we have our 65 millimeter long bolts that need to be installed. I'm going to be installing mirrors at the same time, but it's going to be the same process even if you're not doing that. Then you're going to use a 17 millimeter socket to tighten these down. Next, we'll install the lower mounts. These are side specific. You're just using that flange nut on the 65 millimeter bolt. And I'm just going to lightly snug these down just to the point where you can still make adjustments with this bracket. And then once we have the windshield on, we'll make all of our adjustments and go back through and tighten that hardware down. We'll do those same steps on the other side. Next, we're going to use a 17 millimeter socket and 15 millimeter combo wrench. You can see we have some adjustability in these A-pillar brackets. I'm going to put them right in the middle and then tighten those nuts down. After that, we can set the windshield in place, and we're using the M8 by 20 millimeter button head bolts with the nylock nuts on the inside. And with these, we're leaving these loose so we can make some adjustments. So you can adjust this and get it centered from side to side and up and down. You just want to make sure you have a good seal where that bulb seal meets the hood. Then we can use our 5 millimeter Allen and 13 millimeter combo wrench to tighten this hardware down. And then up top, we need to make sure the filler panel is lined up. So we're going side to side, and again, you can go up and down just a little bit. Then you can tighten the 2 bolts on the inside using that 4 millimeter Allen. And as you go through this process, just make sure the hand knobs line up and screw in easily. Now with the hand knobs, you have a washer and rubber grommet to go on. Now if you can't get everything lined up like this, those A-pillar brackets, you can go back in and get them adjusted until you have the correct fitment. Now we can reinstall the roof hardware, and that's going to go through the upper mounting location on that filler panel. Next, we need to get this antenna out of the way. So there's a little cover you want to pop off on the bottom, and you've got a nut. You're going to loosen that up with an 8 millimeter combo wrench. And then you've got some wires that are going to pull off. Just make sure you get those back on. And you can see we've already drilled a hole right next to that main mounting location for that locating pin. You're going to use some grease on the location tab, put the antenna where you want it for the final mounting location, press down, and then that little dot of grease is where you're going to drill that hole. With it twisted just to the side a little bit, we can fold the antenna down and it's not going to interfere with our windshield. Now underneath, make sure you get the grounding strap and the wire bolted back on. We're just going to snug this down. Next, you're going to remove the hand knobs from your windshield. And I've got this blue tape that I'm going to use on top of the hood, and that's going to hold the windshield up and off of it. After that, I'm going to install the hand knobs into the standoff brackets. So these are side specific. This one is going to be for the passenger side, and you'll know you have the correct side if this little rubber button, if that's facing towards the back of the machine. So where the hand knob screws in, you just want to center that up in the windshield mount. And I've got a little blue tape on the side of the machine that's going to help prevent scratching it, and it's going to allow us to see our drill marks. So with that squared up, just using a Sharpie to mark the drill locations, I'm going to do that same thing on the other side, and then we'll use a 1/4 inch drill bit to drill through both of those marks. Now we can take the 4 remaining M6 button head bolts. We're going to go through our standoff bracket, and then you want to take the nut plate, install that on the back, thread those bolts into there, and we're using a 4mm Allen to tighten them down. After that, you want to fold the windshield back down. Make sure these standoff brackets are in the correct spot and the hand knobs go in easily. That's it for installing the Tusk UTV folding glass windshield on your Polaris RZR Trail. Again, this fits the 900s and the 1000s. If you need one, you can click the link in the description below. That's going to take you over to our website. You can snag one of these up. Now, if you have any questions about the install process, just leave those down in the comments. If you want to see more helpful content like this, subscribe to our channel. I'm Charles with Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Thanks for watching.